Good morning, everybody. So today we're gonna go and take Dennis for a little spin to the Brecon Beacons. Gonna go climb Penny Fan. Improvised lighting because the cabin overhead lighting is fucked. I don't know if I fucked it up when I was installing something or if it's just fucked. But it's fucked. It's 6 a.m. and we have conflicting weather forecasts. Windy saying that it's gonna be windy and foggy. Cloudy and foggy.
Yeah.
And then mountain weather forecast is saying that it's beautiful and perfect. So fingers crossed, mountain weather forecast is correct. But regardless, it's gonna be fabulous. Just like my beard. Fabulous. And my wife. Okay guys, I'll see you there. Well, we'll see you there. 8 o'clock and we here. And it looks darker than it is because the sun's already coming up, but I believe Windy was accurate with the weather so far anyway, because it's not clear. I don't know if you can see, but I'll show you. Yeah, it's quite misty and cloudy, but we are hopeful. We are hoping that...
Regardless, grateful.
And grateful, but we are hoping that the weather is gonna clear up a little bit, but it's gonna be a nice day anyway. I'll show you the cloudy tops and everything. And of course, speak about productivity, because there are 3 things I want to share with you today. In terms of productivity specifically, that I use that is really, really helpful for me and has helped other people. And maybe some tips from Sophie as well, because she has a good head on her shoulders. And so, you know, okay. Sometimes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we'll get ready, change into our hiking shoes and everything, get our backpacks on our backs, and we will get going, and we'll show you along the way what the place looks like and everything. Whee! We were about to leave, but we have this little dude. I don't know if you can see him, but this little dude, he's gone under the van. Well, he keeps popping up. Oh, hello, little dude. Hello. The walk has begun, and let me show you the beautiful view that we're walking towards. And I promise you there is a mountain there somewhere, because I've done this walk a fair few times. Sophie has done it a couple of times, and we've done it once together before as well. So I'm sure the mountains are still there. And they probably didn't move. There was also a bit of a weird start because we had this guy with a bunch of other dudes that walked past, and oh my god, dude, they must have had
sounded like he was dying.
Literally, I have no idea how much he drank, but I don't know, maybe it was like 5-10 minutes. He was just standing there like, oh, not good at all.
Another robin?
Yeah, there's loads of robins everywhere. There's one on that sign, but you probably won't see because you can try and zoom in. Another robin. We are going up there, and I hope that cloud is very thin. So the top of that cloud, you will see an inversion, I hope. We have started the climb. This is going to be the worst part of it. The initial bit, from where we start anyway, is quite steep, and it keeps getting steeper and steeper towards the very end. But then it's fairly flat at the top. And once I get to the top and catch my breath, I'm going to give you a bit of a talky session. You having fun there? Yeah. Yes. So we're pretty much in the cloud now. You can't really see what's behind us anymore. And then in front, can't really see what's in front of us either, except for Sophie. So just follow Sophie. Quite a good lung opener for sure. I do remember that about this walk, this particular path. So we're probably about halfway up, and the second half is definitely the worst half. Look at the grass. It's pretty. It was cold, but not anymore. Guys, this is us from the future. A heads up. What you see in the upcoming scenes, me talking about productivity and everything, do not be deceived by the weather, because this is literally like half an hour after I talked about that productivity. Look at it. Inversions, clouds rolling, absolutely magnificent views, and that's where we came from those clouds. It is insane how gorgeous it is, and we're just making pot noodles up here on top of Brecon Beacons.
Ocean of clouds.
Just above an ocean of clouds. It is absolutely stunning once again, stunning. But yeah, it's just, man, manifestation. Manifestation is real. It is absolutely real. We could have easily just been like, I mean, we planned this day, so might as well go, even though it's cloudy and, you know, not great, we can't see anything, we just walk and walk and walk, but we stayed positive, we stayed optimistic, and nature provided. It is honestly absolutely beautiful. Hopefully you don't hear the wind too much, but in terms of productivity, there are 3 things that I wanted to talk about, and you don't really hear about them because most of the times people cover things like planners and kind of trackers and all the kind of thing, like journals and whatever. Now I'm not saying I don't use these kind of things. I do use a journal. That's pretty much it. And there's a reason for that. I cover a lot of it, pretty much most of it in my course, which I'll link down in the description. And if you want to support me or the channel, then you can grab the course. It's insanely cheap. Like insanely cheap. So if you do have a look at it and consider it, I really appreciate you. But anyway, in terms of productivity, what I wanted to cover, there are essentially 3 main parts to it. It obviously gets broken down into smaller pieces, which again, I cover in the course. And I do talk about how I got to the productivity bit in my other videos. I'll link one of them in the top right hand corner so you can click and have a look at why I'm so into productivity. So the 3 key things are, first one is switching from need to want. Second thing is habit building. And the third thing is presence. First 2 things I do cover in a lot of detail in the course. The third thing is a very, very deep kind of subject, and it's something that I cannot give a crazy amount of advice, but I can give you my perspective on how it helps being productive without overbearing yourself with things like a ton of planners and calendars and journals and just kind of whelming yourself with tracking everything, which takes a ton of time. Let me just break it down for you because I'm just rambling now. So what I mean about the need and want productivity, again, if you click on that video that I told you about that popped up in the top right hand corner, it explains the difference between need and want productivity very well. But essentially what I mean with it is we all know that we need to do things in life to be able to sustain ourselves, right? And that's because I guess we're kind of forced to do it, like the society is structured in a way that makes us need to do things.
When you need to do something, it kind of makes it feel like a chore.
Yeah.
To do it, but when you want to do it, it no longer feels like a chore. You're doing it just because you want to, and when you want to do something, it gives you that dopamine which makes you happy and it gives you joy. But when you need to do it, just means you don't always get that second feeling.
Pretty much what Sophie said, but I'll go into more detail with it. So, like the need for work. We all have to work, and we're kind of forced to get a job because it's necessary and it's comfortable to just look for a job, get it, start working, and comfortably and conveniently earn stable income to be able to sustain yourself without really knowing what the job is. If you like it, if you want to do it, it almost becomes like guesswork. But you know that you need it because you need to eat food, which costs money. You need to drink water, which costs money. You need to have electricity, heating, which costs money. A roof over your head. You guessed it, it costs money. Everything costs money and you need it. So you need a job. You need all these things to be comfortable. But the difficult part is firstly figuring out what you want to do. And that's something that comes from your purpose, your vision, your mission, which probably takes the big bulk of time to discover, and then the rest follows really. And once you figure that purpose out, your vision of your life, you can start breaking it down into smaller steps, and then you know what you want to do. Then you systematically move away from needing to work, for example, to wanting to work. That's why people say, if you do what you love, you'll never work a single day in your life. That's what I mean by switching away from needing to work or needing to be productive towards wanting to be productive. That's the productivity part, and I apologize if it's a lot to take in because there's so much to it. Like, it's a very unconventional way of looking at productivity because I haven't really heard anybody talk about it this way. And everyone's about, like I said, I already said it, I know, but I'm gonna say it again, so deal with it. But all the calendars, planners, Excel sheets, freaking apps to track everything, there's so much. I mean, for some people it works, right? For some people it works. Like Sophie has a little Excel spreadsheet where she tracks her habits and her mood.
Yeah, I track my mood and I track the things that give me joy. So I make sure I'm doing things that make me happy throughout the day. So I'm doing things I want to do as opposed to doing things I have to do. Yeah,
so for some people it works, and I'm not saying it doesn't work, but instinctively you assume when it comes to productivity you need to have all these files and spreadsheets and like so many things to track to be able to keep on top of it.
And the spreadsheet.
Sophie loves spreadsheets, so that helps. Yeah, it can be very overwhelming. It doesn't have to be complicated, honestly. Because when you start moving away from needing to do things and you start bit by bit doing things that you want to do, it becomes so much easier. Second part of it then is, what did I say? Habits. I think I said habits. Anyway, second part is going to be habits. So habits is essentially the smallest part of the whole shebang, the whole process.
Sorry, you just sounded like Smeagol. The habits is...
The habits is...
You sounded like Smeagol.
The habits are the smallest part of the whole process.
Essentially, you have to work backwards. You start with figuring out what you want to do, which is your purpose, your vision, mission, all that good stuff. And then you work backwards. You go to a strategy, which is a set of goals that you can follow. Then you work on the individual goals. Then you build a routine, potentially a behavior set, and then you go to habits. And that sounds like a lot, but once you know what it is not difficult to follow at all. So what do I mean by habits? There's a very simple thing to follow when it comes to habits. I mean, simple in concept, but difficult to apply to certain things because habits can be difficult to break or difficult to develop based on what kind of personality you have, I guess. If you want to break habits like substance abuse, it might be difficult if you're a very addictive person, but it depends on your personality and what kind of habit you build. But essentially, there's a thing called reward cycles, and you have a trigger, you have an action, and you have a reward. And every single thing you do in life follows that reward cycle. Even blinking. For example, the trigger is your eyes get dry and they get a little bit sore. The action is you blink. The reward is you can see. Surprise, surprise, right? Literally everything you do follows a reward cycle. Now, if there is an action that you want to build, that you want to adjust or completely demolish, you have to look at your reward cycle and restructure it or structure it based on if it's a new habit or an old one. Once you know what it is that you want to do, you have to structure your habits around it. If you build habits very well, which takes time to figure out, but it's not a race, it's a marathon. You won't get to the place where you want to be within a couple of days, a week, a month, or even a year. It takes time, right? But if you build habits well, you won't maybe very minimally need some sort of a calendar or planner to follow, because your habits will be what will move you along the process of achieving your goal. I assume you guys know what a habit is, but it's an automated action taking. Your brain just knows that you have to do this now, this then, as opposed to looking to a planner and knowing what to do, or looking at a planner and thinking, oh shit, I forgot to do this, because it's not a habit. It's something that you have to look at a planner and remember to do. If it's automated, you won't have to remember it. You're subconsciously remembering what you need to do through triggers that follow you or guide you along the day. So habits are really important. They're the foundation of keeping on top of your productivity and doing things that you need to do. This is what happens when you follow Sophie. We walk and then she's like, oh, this looks like a nicer path. And clearly we were off the main path.
Well, I make things interesting.
You do indeed. So the last part that I want to touch on is presence. And it's a bit of a spiritual one, I guess, but it's very, very relevant because presence has a very strong determining feature when it comes to productivity. And we oftentimes focus so much on the actual outcome, the goals. We're constantly looking into the future. We want to be able to get to that point B from our point A, but we don't really actually focus on the in-between. And that's where even if you have the best habits in place, it becomes very, very difficult because you don't get the sense of achievement throughout doing the things that you want to do. With the lack of that sense, you don't really get the dopamine reward that you desire, which is the reason why you're trying to achieve this goal. And especially if the goal is a very big one that's going to take a while to achieve. You need something in between. And the in-between is the presence part, meaning you have to be present as you're doing everything that you want to do. You focus on the process as opposed to the destination. Because if you do your absolute best in the present moment, which is building the habits that you want to build, that will take you to the goals that you want to get to, that gives you the productivity that you want to sustain, your only destination will be the goal that you want to achieve, the vision that you want to get to, the purpose that you want to achieve. And again, that's something that not many really talk about. You have to focus on the goal. You have to have this tracker to track your progress. You have to have this app. You have to have this thing to be able to get to your goal. You need to be present. You need to focus on your actions. And again, I cannot go into this subject super deep because we're still learning and there's a lot to learn. Surprisingly enough, it's not easy to be present, and yet it's so easy at the same time. There's a very interesting conundrum, but it's the best way to feel like you're doing what you want to do and feeling a sense of achievement all the time, every single moment. If you're present, you have no problems. You're doing your best because you're not focused on the future, which might not even happen. You're not focused on the past, thinking, oh, I've done this before and it went to shit, so you're feeling like you're not gonna do well.
It's not thinking that things are just going to be better in the future, it's thinking that things are better now. How they are now is amazing, how they are now is great, and be grateful for how they are now. Instead of thinking, oh, they'll get better, it'll get better. Make now better. Then stop thinking, oh, it's better than it used to be, or it used to be better, because regardless, that's gone. That was the present, it's no longer the present. So, because then you might be in the future and be like, oh, it used to be amazing. So it's like, just be now. Like right now, we're walking on a hill, I'm listening to you speak, I'm having the time of my life now. It's amazing.
Exactly, very well put.
But I'm not like all the time.
Yeah, but again, like you said, it's a learning process. We're learning, and right now my hand's about to freeze off because I've been holding this camera in freezing cold for nearly 22 minutes now. But these are essentially the three things when it comes to productivity that I really want to emphasize. And I think they're really, really important in this day and age as well, because it can be so overwhelming with all the stimuli that we get from everywhere. You go on Facebook, on Instagram or YouTube, you get thrown all of these apps to download, all these things, these companies and everything trying to tell you, you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to try this, try that. It gets overwhelming. You try all these things and you keep trying them because you keep getting thrown them in your face, but you end up not sticking to a single thing, not fully trying it out, or you just don't know what direction to take. And yeah, for some people it's fine, they stick to something, they really like it and they do it and it works, but for the majority it gets so overwhelming, so difficult to actually achieve something in life. And understandably so, when it gets so overwhelming, all you want to do is just chill at your computer playing games or watch Netflix or doing what's easy, not really knowing how to get out of your comfort zone, even though you want to, because you are overwhelmed and stressed out and even anxious to do it because it's an unknown territory for you. It doesn't have to be complicated. As soon as you start looking at your purpose, at your vision, where you want to get to, when you start knowing what you want to do, it all starts coming into place. And again, shameless plug, but genuinely, if it's something that you want to do, if it's something that you want to achieve, finding your purpose and starting to start building those habits, my course covers all of it. And there's a ton of worksheets there, a ton. All of them come with the course. I think there's like 9 or 10 worksheets. There's a worksheet that helps you figure out your purpose, your vision, your mission, a strategy, everything that I talked about. It's all there. My whole framework that I talk about and I teach, and it can be life-changing. And it's something that you can apply to anything and everything in your life. It is really good. I'm selling it for an absolute ridiculously cheap price, as Sophie has told me several times. But yeah, it's all about giving, it's all about love, it's all about helping people grow and develop.
And if they feel overwhelmed, they have you to go to.
Shameless plug from Sophie. But yeah, I'm always open for a chat. If you want to drop me a message on my socials, I'll link them below and I'll tag them here on the bottom of the video. But I appreciate you all. I appreciate all the support. We just went over 200 subscribers, which is amazing. Never thought I would do it with something that seems like is not a subject that people would be very interested in, but I feel like it's a very unique perspective towards productivity that I have and I offer to people. And I feel like this uniqueness is what people need these days because of the overwhelm that I talked about and just not knowing where to go and how to do it. And yeah, I think I can provide a lot of value, and I hope you agree. Yeah, I love you all. Hope everyone has a wonderful day, evening, morning, whatever it may be, or a wonderful night if you're going to bed, you know? I'll say my goodbyes now. If you feel like this is useful, I would really appreciate a like and a share. Tell your friends and family that want to be productive about this bald-ish. Right now I didn't shave my head off, but bald bearded guy that's talking about this interesting spiritual productivity stuff with his wife on a frosty, gloomy hill, walking in a fog or a cloud, whatever it may be, inversion, hopefully eventually. And I'll see you soon in the next video. By the way, if you want to look at some hopefully nice views, and if I see anything, if I didn't include it in between the talking bits, stay tuned because I'll include them in the end, in the credits, that will not exist because I am a one-man band with emotional support from the pineapple. Look at her head, it's like a pineapple. Anyway, I'll see you soon. Bye-bye!